Dad, we are a few weeks away from the FTC's proposed rules potentially coming into effect. We've got a 60-day public comment period. That wasn't enough for the National Automobile Dealers Association. They had requested to the FTC an extension. Hey, you guys are trying to put these rules on us. We need another year or so to figure out if we can actually abide by them. Well, Dad, the FTC, in a unanimous 5-0 vote, said, no, there's going to be no extension period here. These rules, they're probably going to come into effect sooner rather than later. Pretty cool story, Dad. And 2,400 comments so far on the FTC's regulations page. Pretty big news.
It is good news. The NADA and the National Association of Minority Automobile Dealers and the American International Automobile Dealers Association were all asking for extra time, an extension to the time needed for public comment. I don't know why they felt that way. Recently, someone did a study, and we had pulled it up, and that what was it? 99.2% of the respondents were in favor.
At that time, it was about 1,600 comments. So It was 1,600 comments and 99.2, and we're up to 2,400 comments, and probably still 99.2 were, as you were saying,
were in favor of the FTC imposing these new guidelines on dealerships for greater clarity in pricing, greater clarity in the F&I products that are being sold. And so the dealerships and the dealership associations were trying to fight back and extend that time frame. But there really is no need. I mean, anybody who has ever gone out to purchase a car knows what it's like and knows that it needs to be improved upon.
And so let's touch on this in case it's your first time hearing this news. There are 4 proposed rules that the FTC has had out in the open since, when was it, Pops? I think it was all the way back on July 13th. June 23rd was when they announced this, and then July 13th was when they opened the public comment period. These 4 rules that the FTC is proposing would ban the sale of products with no benefit. A great example of this would be that nitro-fill tire that costs you $300 that actually has no more nitrogen than what's in the air. Dealerships would no longer be able to sell that type of product. Advertising the real price of a vehicle online, and by real price I mean with all of their add-ons or any ancillary fees, things like that. That would have to be the advertised price on a website. Crazy concept, truly a crazy concept. The third rule would essentially provide non-discriminatory practices for cash buyers, which is a big deal because in today's market, Dad, we have heard way too many horror stories of consumers having to use financing through a dealership, having to go through the headache of having to then refinance or pay off a loan. So this would have non-discriminatory practices for cash buyers and enhanced consent for finance and insurance products. So, you may have heard a story of a friend, or maybe this happened to you even. You accidentally bought an extended warranty that you didn't realize you were buying. And if you work at a dealership and you heard me just say accidentally buy an extended warranty, that could never happen. Please see my Instagram DMs. Every single day, I get about 2 to 3 stories of people sending me their buyer's order saying, I don't know, I was just looking at this after watching one of your videos and it says $3,800, but I don't remember paying for that. What is it? Okay, so that happens way too often. The FTC is proposing enhanced consent that would hopefully make sure that consumers are informed before they're buying these things.
And what I don't understand is why dealers would be opposed to any of those things. Why they would be opposed to making the process not only easier for the consumer to understand, but would actually decrease the amount of time it would take for a salesperson and the dealership to sell the car. If everything were transparent as far as the pricing was concerned, and in today's world, in most cases, you're going to pay MSRP. So if that's the case, and you advertise the price with added dealer accessories, so people know what the price is before they come in, they've pretty much already agreed to it. So that'll cut down the amount of time it takes to sell the car. It'll make it easier for the customer, easier for the salespeople, easier for the F&I people, better experience for everybody involved. I don't know why a dealership would be opposed to that.
NADA CEO Mike Stanton said in a statement just this week, the FTC's refusal to grant a routine extension of a public comment period, particularly for a proposed rule of such sweeping magnitude that involved no advance notice, further displays an unnecessary and misguided rush to judgment in this matter. His quote continues, "This proposed rule would cause great harm to consumers by significantly extending transaction times, making the customer experience much more complex and inefficient, and increasing prices." And NADA again urges the FTC to go back to the drawing board before forcing a series of unstudied and untested mandates lacking evidence that will have such significant negative impacts on consumers. Feel free to rant, because I'm ready to jump through the freaking screen, man.
I'm not going to rant. I mean, Mike Stanton owns a dealership. Okay, he's never had to go as a customer and try and buy a car. He has no idea what is happening at the dealership level in many of the dealerships across this country. We see comments every day about how people feel about having to deal with automobile dealerships and the shenanigans that go on at those dealerships. So it won't increase the time if everything is transparent from Jump Street. If the price that's advertised on the internet is the damn price of the car and you don't have to play a game with the customer when they come in, it's going to decrease the amount of time it takes to sell the car. If you have to fully explain F&I products that are available, finance and insurance products that are available to the customer, and you figure out how to do it in an honest, open, and transparent manner, it won't take nearly as much time as you would think. It would be a yes or a no from the consumer. I would beg Mr. Stanton, I would beg dealership principals to just once in their lives try and look at this process through the customer's eyes instead of through your eyes. Try just once listening to what it is that the customers want as opposed to what you think it is that the customers want. Because I can assure you, what you think it is that the customers want is not what the customers want, which is why they are so overwhelmingly in favor of the FTC proposals. Think about that for just a moment before you start complaining about what the FTC is trying to do.
September 12th is the end of the public comment period. We will have the link down below to the regulations.gov page where you can and should share your stories for why you're either for or against the proposed rules. Pops, thanks for your time as always. Important story that we're covering here.
Thank you, handsome, as always.